We witnessed an exciting start to the season last time out in Australia, but now a week later, it is time to go racing again. Welcome along to the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's round 2 in season 16 of the Wheel2WheelRacing AL2 Championship. This week we're in the Persian Gulf and just a couple miles inland from the west coast on Bahrain Island. We're here in Sakir. It's the beautiful Bahrain International Circuit, a venue that hosted 2 races using 2 different layouts for the 2020 Formula 1 season, but today just the normal 3.36 mile layout with 15 corners, 6 to the left and 9 to the right. We have 3 DRS zones and plenty of opportunities to overtake as there's heavy braking zones all throughout this fast-paced circuit. We're going to have 57 laps of racing after qualifying today, and our tires are in the middle of the Pirelli range, the C2, C3, and the C4. Soft C4 tires about 1 second quicker than the mediums and about 1.5 seconds quicker than the hards, but of course those softs with that shortest lifespan. It'll be interesting to see which way our drivers go with their strategies, and we'll start to get a good idea of that now as we are underway in qualifying. We look forward to another exciting race here at Wheel2Wheel Racing.
Yep, old Dad's rules. He's one of the first ones out of the garage racing for Ferrari. He managed to clinch a podium last week with a phenomenal show in Australia, so we'll see how he does on his first outing. But as Matt said, we will have an interesting show for strategy. It's looking like medium soft soft or soft soft medium might be the optimum strategy, but quite a few people out on the softs at the moment. Few medium runners, but we'll see if they switch to the softs to try and get that time in. So old Dad's is just coming round the final corner now, opening up on the start-finish straight, which is DRS activated. It's DRS wide open, coming down into turn 1, which is a hard braking corner. Very tricky here, especially at the race start. Lap 1 is usually a lot of traffic here, so critical to get this right. Tight on turn 2 as well. Again, a lot of traffic lap 1, so it's a difficult place to keep your front wing. But if you can make it this far, you've got your DRS activation down to turn 4. Again, heavy braking. You have to watch that inside curb and the outside line. Make sure that you stay within a track limit. Coming round now, sector 2. Heavy braking now into turn 8. Again, DRS activation down here, but this is a tricky corner to get the braking right because it's off camber. Hard left hand down. A bit of less attraction on the back of the old Dad's rules there, but DRS activation open. Coming down now into turn 11, which is a long left-hander. Doesn't seem to handle it too well, but probably the most trickiest corner on this track is turn 12 here. That inside curb is a killer. If you touch that, you are guaranteed to be wiped out. Turn 13, watch the outside limit there as he invalidates his lap, but he's backed off now, so it looks like he might go again. But that was a good effort from old Dad's.
Yep, got a little loose a couple of times. It is a tricky circuit. We saw turn 10 struggled there, and also turn 11, turn 12. That area is very tricky in that middle sector. But he's got plenty of time to go for it again if he wants. As Silva Slugger puts it on provisional pole, then Maxi on the mediums beats his time by a second.
Yeah, it was a good time on the mediums. Obviously, one second deficit for the softs there. So as Strident or James crosses the line, puts it in provisional 3rd on a set of mediums, but a letdown estate, setting a reasonable time, but beaten by his teammate already with a 1:26.7. I can tell you that pole time last season here in Bahrain was set by AJC, and that was a 1:26.0, so still have a little bit of time to be found, but Xerxes certainly best of the rest at the moment.
Yeah, that is a solid lap, especially right at the beginning of the session. The track's likely to get quicker as the session goes on, so we'll be looking to build off that. A good first run for both Red Bull drivers, Xerxes and a letdown estate.
So old Dad's is just coming to finish off his second flying lap as his first one was invalidated. I did see he had a purple sector 2 So he opens his DRS as he's coming across the line, and what can he provide? He can provide a 1:27.1, which puts him into second place. But he's going to want to run again, because running a few laps on the softs here, they don't last very long in the race as it is. So if you run them in quali a bit too much, then you won't have much tyre left for your qualifying session, for your race, sorry.
Yeah. The 3 drivers have set laps on mediums. We'll see if that stays the way it is for the rest of the session. Not a bad strategy to go on the mediums from the start. Of course, 10 drivers, so everybody who sets a lap time will have to start on the same tires that they qualify on.
Yep, at our race on Wednesday I managed to set my time on the softs in quali, but because I was 14th, I managed to start the race on the mediums.
Yeah, and that worked very well for you.
Yes, got me 11th place, which obviously Wheel to Wheel now run points all the way down to 20th, so even if there was more than 10 cars here, everyone, all the finishers would be looking to pick up points.
Everybody's finished with their first run, just Appleplex on his outlap, and Cal not yet to set a time.
Got comment already coming in. Bannister, what's up guys? What's up Bannister? Missing racing on a Friday, I'm sure. James on his outlap, he looks like he's gone out on the same set of mediums, so he's might be a clever move, because you don't want to use all your tyres up in qualifying, so he could be getting his track positions in just right on the mediums and then look to set a rapid time on the softs. We'll see how that develops. But Appleplex is nearing starting his lap. I've got Xerxes saying hello. Bannister damn straight missing AL2. Mikey, let's hope McLaren boys do better this. Does a better bit than. Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't read that. Anyway, Appleplex starting his lap.
Appleplex round turn 1, keeping it nice and tidy. Tricky turn 2 acceleration zone, and get a great exit down this DRS straight. Using all the track on corner entry to turn 4. Ooh, little lockup on the front right there from Appleplex. Won't have cost him too much time though if he can keep it clean through the rest of this middle sector. Smooth through the S's, keeping it off the curbs. Heavy braking zone into turn 8. Gets the power down early, now the trickiest part of the track, downhill braking through turn 9 into turn 10. Oh, and he takes that very well. Very smooth, getting the car turned. DRS open down towards turn 11 now. Looking a good lap from Appleplex. Just flat out round turn 12. Purple sector 2 for the Mercedes driver. No surprise there, he's looked really in control of his car throughout this lap. Just 2 corners to go, 1 braking zone. Takes all of that inside curb on turn 14 and then just accelerates through 15 flat out and across the line. It's up to P2 for Appleplex. A great lap, 1:27.051.
Cal, last week's race winner and pole sitter from last week, just coming out of the garage now. I don't know if he was out before, but he's not set a time yet. So, as Mikey did say, hoping that the McLaren boys do better than we did on Wednesday, as in Mikey and Bannister who drive for McLaren, because we have now the combined Constructors' Championship at Wheel to Wheel, so the 2 Constructors' titles for both leagues will be added together, and then an overall Constructor winner will be decided for Wheel to Wheel as a league. So Cal looking to improve, looking to set a time this week, having done a good shout last week.
Oh, and Maxi in the Renault was setting a really good lap, but just invalidated on the exit of turn 13. Really unlucky for the Renault driver. See if he goes again. No, he's coming into the pits.
So who we got next across the line? Old Dads is just starting his flying lap. Apoplex is coming down the back straight, but his fuel light is on and his time is pretty low, so he's just on an in lap by the looks on it. And we have a McLaren Cal who's just starting his flying lap. Few more comments. We got Ailhan saying Red Bull boys, have a good one. And saying, can I reserve? Bannister, pole time will be hard to beat. Nice lap from the God King. Obviously talking about Xerxes.
Now we've got Silver Slugger crossing the line, improving up to 7th. A good lap from the young American, representing the Haas team.
Old Dad's coming in. Weren't happy with his lap.
I think Cal is on a flying lap, coming through sector 3 now.
Yeah, on the mediums, and this is his first lap, so it's looking like that is his choice for his strategy. Quite late in the qualifying session, he'd have to be pretty rapid if he wanted to get back in and spot for the softs just in case, but he does cross the line with a 1:27.7, which is a reasonable time on the mediums, because as you say, a 1 second deficit would put him on pole.
It's a solid lap from Cal, and of course, as we saw on Wednesday, those mediums can be a great tire to start the race on. You can go much longer in your first stint. We'll see if that pays off for Cal, if he chooses to keep that time rather than set a time on the softs here in the last 5 minutes. So far just Cal and CHM on the mediums, everyone else looking to be on the soft.
Maxi coming across the line. It's his out lap, so he's just starting his flying lap now. As James, coming out of the pits, just sort of holds back to allow Maxi through. So it's about the right time of the session where people are going to be putting their final tyres on and coming out of the pits if they wanted one more go at setting a time. Cal is coming in, set one time on a set of mediums. He possibly could get back out, but that would be quite tight. He'd have to be in and out of that garage pretty rapid. But starting on the mediums, he's the furthest runner on the mediums. And as I say, 1 second deficit, his time would be on pole, so depends how tempted he is to quickly chuck on a fresh set of softs and go for pole.
You have Maxi in the Renault, quick through the first 2 sectors. He's coming around the final 2 corners now. We'll see what Maxi can do. Currently 9th and across the line up into 5th. Good lap from the Renault driver.
Yeah, improved 1.3 seconds there, so really good lap. I can't remember if his first attempt was on mediums, I can't recall. few people just coming out now, so they're just on the cusp of being able to get round to start a valid time, and Maxi is off. I think he was well out of the way of anybody there, so didn't cause any dramas.
I think we have Daisy or James or Strident, whatever you know him by. We can call him James in the McLaren. Coming through Sector 2, he's going to be the first to cross the line on this final bit of qualifying. We'll see how he does. It's a very quick Sector 2. We'll see if he can carry that pace through Sector 3 and how far up the grid he can put himself. Down in 10th now. We know he's got the pace to be much higher up than that. It's a good exit out of the final corner. And where will that McLaren be? 6th for James.
Old Dad's just beginning his final flying lap. Maxi just pulling out of the way a Silver Slugger, who is, again, he's just about to cross the line to start his final flying lap. Appleplex also.
A letdown Estate, who's dead even on his previous time through Sector 2. If he can improve by just a little over a 10th, that could put him into 3rd ahead of Old Dads. It is really close right there between Appleplex, Old Dads, and Maxi and James as well, but Letdown Estate can't improve. He improved his time, but not enough to move him into 3rd. He stays 4th.
It's a very close time. That between 2nd and 7th, it's only 3/10 of a second. That is incredible. That just shows how tight the racing is going to be here at this Bahrain Grand Prix, so let's hope that it can carry on through to the race.
Silver Slugger getting a little loose at turn 10. As we said before, probably the trickiest part of this circuit. And I don't think Silver Slugger will be able to improve his time.
Yeah, that's the qualifying flag out. Old Daz had invalidated, so he couldn't improve. Silver Slugger has left the session, so hopefully he can get back in before the qualifying results come up. Otherwise that does cause a little bit of a problem when you're trying to reconnect, because it doesn't allow you to get into your car to set your race strategy, so we'll have to wait out and see what happens from that. Appleplex is out on track, he's not improving.
Not using any of his battery, so that looks to be that for qualifying at the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Yeah. Hopefully Letdown Estate will go nice and slow to give Silver a chance to rejoin the session if he's got another invite. Otherwise we might be looking at a restart. But Cal, CHM on the mediums. Cal's time very impressive on the mediums, but he's starting all the way back into 8th. But on them medium tyres he can go long, he can go about 27 laps on them mediums into this race. So let's wait out and see our qualifying results as they come up. And then during our 5-minute break we can run through the combined Constructors' Championship for Wheel to Wheel. And there we have our Bahrain Grand Prix short qualifying session come to an end with Xerxes taking pole for Red Bull with a 1:26.7, which is an incredible time. 3/10 faster than Appleplex for Mercedes, who finished in 2nd. Then we have Old Dad's Rules in 3rd, a Letdown Estate in 4th, Maxi in 5th, James in 6th, Prev in 7th, Cal in 8th, CHM in 9th, Silver Slugger in 10th, and Cal and CHM on the mediums. But as I say, look at that, there is only 3/10 between 2nd and 7th. So 6 cars within 3/10 of a second of each other. That is going to show for an incredible Grand Prix. So Bannister commenting on the stream. Appleplex with a great time. Only problem for Cal now is a turn-on incident on those mediums. So can he get them turned on? Can he survive turn 1, 2 and 3 on lap 1 through all the traffic? When we know he's got some pace, but has the tyres got the pace to match? And I don't see Silver Slugger on the waiting list for the players there, so again we'll just wait out to see if we restart or if we carry on through this session. But as I say, we can run through the standings as they are at the moment. Cal for McLaren took pole and the win last week, and that earns 35 points here at Wheel to Wheel now. Old Daz Rules was second, earning him 28 points. A Letdown Estate was third, winning him 25 points. Then we had Sega with the fastest lap in 4th, Prev in 5th, Maxi in 6th, CHM in 7th, and James in 8th. The rest was DNFs. But our wheel-to-wheel combined championship, we have Williams at the top with 114 points. So Sega is the only representing Williams driver for AL2, already at the top of the table. But it's going to be a right show here for McLaren, because McLaren at the top of the table for the AL2 standings, but they are way down in 6th in the combined standings.
Yeah, really important to get contributions from everybody in the team in both leagues for that combined championship. Everybody can score points, but of course, if you're in those top 10 positions, you get a lot more points than you normally would have, and just a few points up to offer for those last few positions, so some big differences in the point totals as we see already.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because we've got Pillars, my teammate, leading the AL1 standings at the minute. In fact, he's joint first with Lee Finley. Cal leading the AL2 title at the moment, but Cal drives for McLaren, Pillars drives for Racing Point, and Racing Point and McLaren are 5th and 6th. So it is really about how many points you collectively make, and the strongest teams will be the ones with four drivers. But Williams tops the table, and they only have 3. So yeah, not as much as we would normally have to talk about here to do with the standings, because we've only had 3 races in total for the whole league across the 2 splits.
Yep. Although some interesting news next week, if we follow the season 15 schedule, which is what we normally would do this time of year, usually in our second season on any given game, we would normally be going to Vietnam, but some speculation that might be postponed due to some COVID-related issues, or just the fact that we might need to shorten the season in order to get a full season in before the new game comes out this summer. But we will bring news on that when we have it. So we'll be in Southeast Asia next week, but not sure if it'll be Vietnam or China.
It's strong possibility it's going to be China rather than Vietnam, but as you say, if the season goes the full length, it's something that we can revisit at the end.
Yep.
So it looks like our cars are getting ready to go. Comment on the comment on the stream from Bannister. Choo choo. I think he could hear a train behind you, Matt.
Yeah.
Funny old thing we find here in Bahrain.
And the drivers are underway on the formation lap.
Interesting. Xerxes' pit strategy just popped up on the screen, and that showed a soft, medium strategy, which is usually the second strategy they offer. And if you can't manage your tyres that well, or if you're quite worried about that long turn 12, which I normally am for tyre wear, you know, you need to put more tyres on your car. But I think the strongest strategy would be a soft medium, or medium soft, or a variation thereof. So Old Dads is showing up as a soft medium run. Or it could have been, he could have selected the second option, which was a medium, a soft medium. So again, if you're not sure on your tyre management, then running the harder compound more often in the race might be an answer. But you do suffer on the mediums. It definitely felt slower on Wednesday than the softs. 1 second deficit on fresh. So what can Cal do from back in 8th place on their medium tyres? We know he can go longer on them tyres than everybody else. It doesn't look like Silver Slugger has made it back into his car. I haven't seen whether he rejoined the session or not, but you can't normally get in your car till after lights out anyway.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see how that goes for him. Hopefully he can get back in right at the start. It is a long run down into turn 1 and a really tight turn 1 and turn 2, so we usually do see some carbon fiber flying off there. Hopefully all our drivers will be cautious and keep it clean. We are excited for this one. It is the Red Bull of Xerxes on pole. 5 lights are on. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing in the desert, boys. They are underway and Xerxes leads the charge down into turn 1. And Appleplex has got a great start.
Silver got an incredible start. Then he got back into his car, but I can see some carbon fibre. It looks like it's somewhere off Old Dad's.
A bit of red carbon fibre. I think that came off the Ferrari. But the Mercedes of Appleplex is storming away down towards turn 4. Oh, and the McLaren of James is up the inside of Old Dad's and up into second, and there's a car off.
Yeah,
that was a letdown of state.
There's a Red Bull of letdown of state. Maxi came across, but I wasn't sure if that would come off a collision with Prev. So a little bit of traffic there has caused some incidents.
We see Cal on those medium tires right behind the Renault of Maxi into that tricky braking zone at turn 10. Cal having a look, but doesn't have the traction under his right foot to close the gap on the Renault. He goes a little bit wide into turn 11. We have Xerxes right on the back of Old Dad's Rule, and I think that Ferrari does have wing damage because a corner that is normally easy flat, Old Dad's has just really struggled and had to let off the throttle.
Yeah, he's got no left end plate.
Yeah, and his teammate Prev goes by as well. And the Renault of Maxi.
He's just getting swamped.
For good measure. Yeah, he looks to be coming in. Really unfortunate for Old Dad's. As I said, really tight turns 1 and 2 here at Bahrain. and Old Dad's rule has to come in after lap 1. And we have Prev right behind the Red Bull of Xerxes, who started on pole. But after that phenomenal start from Appleplex, dropped back a bit and now might have some defending to do from the Ferrari here.
Riding on board with Cal, and Max's car was a ghost for a long time, so I'm not sure what was happening there. But James, having improved 4 places at the start of this race, so he's really benefited from them collisions on lap 1. Right on the back of Appleplex.
Oh, yes. It was a good move into turn 4, I think it was as well, in lap 1. Got up the inside. Made up a couple of places there. And now he is hunting down our leader. Appleplex in the Mercedes, thinking about some defending. We come to the end of lap 2 here.
And James is having a look on the inside down the penultimate straight. And he gets him under braking. Can he stay in front of him down this start-finish straight?
It's a good move. But no more battery power for the McLaren. He's run out before the end of the lap. And Appleplex is able to storm by down the start-finish straight.
Oh, and a bit of conflict on braking areas there. James is...
And he just about leaves the space for Appleplex there as they come down the second DRS straight. And it looks like the McLaren has said he's got the inside line and James is able to keep the lead. Great stuff in the opening from James. And meanwhile, Xerxes has been able to battle his way right back up to him as those two battled it out for a few corners.
Yeah, Xerxes wanting to reclaim his pole position. Wanting to get back up at the front where he started this Grand Prix. DRS activated now, so James is being chased with DRS activation from the McLaren, from the Mercedes and the Red Bull car.
Yeah, of course that DRS drag reduction system. We got 3 DRS zones here, where if you're within a second of the car in front, your rear wing will open, giving you better straight line speed than the car in front. And Xerxes is sending it down the inside at turn 14. A little bit of a lockup and he's not able to make it stick. That was very ambitious from the Red Bull driver and he might have another go. He's got DRS down the main straight. And he is ahead of the Mercedes as they come into turn 1.
Yeah, incredible move there. Certainly put the pressure on him on the corner before just to let him know that I am on the attack and I am coming for that position.
And a letdown of State going through, getting back up into 8th. Silva Slugger looks to have gotten back into his car. Looked to have been a clean move from a letdown of State into turn 1.
Old Dad's recovering, setting the fastest lap after having to pit for a new wing. He's put on a fresh set of soft tyres, so we'll see how they last on his car. Cal making his moves up, he's now into 6th place. Again on the medium tyres, so he should be in theory a second a lap slower than everybody else, but that doesn't seem to be the case because he is bringing the fight.
Yeah, and those softs are going to be wearing quickly, so whatever that delta was when both sets of tires were fresh, it's going to be favoring Cal as the laps go on. Those mediums are going to stay in good shape while those softs are going to degrade so quickly.
Yeah, softs probably looking to last about 15 laps. 15. I mean,
Cal's
you might want to be
DRS here. Xerxes also going to have DRS down the main straight, chasing down our race leader. Xerxes trying to get back to where he started. He started on pole, was down in 3rd, but he's closing the gap on the McLaren, and he's right on the back of him, and there's a little bit of contact. Hopefully no damage for the Red Bull. And now Cal right on the back of the Ferrari as well. Cal just preserving that overtake. Might have been able to go for a move there, but just chooses to stay behind Prev.
Yeah, as you say, he knows he's going to be getting the tyre advantage pretty soon. A few more comments on the stream. Better turn 1 than AL1 there. But there are less half the cars, as Mikey rightly says, as Cal is right on the back of Prev.
Silver Slugger, Let Down Estate, both right behind CHM, and there's a little bit of contact between Slugger and a Let Down Estate. Don't think there will be any damage in that. It was just a little love tap from behind as they went into turn 8. CHM was able to defend down that DRS straight though, and we moved back up to the front. Xerxes right on the back of the McLaren in front. And another lockup into turn 14. Xerxes looks to be struggling with that corner so far in this race. But he has DRS and is closing the gap as they fly down towards turn 1. James defends on the inside. He's going to make Xerxes go the long way around, and he can't quite make it happen around turn 1. Prev and Maxi battling it out.
Yeah, quite a few moves going on whilst we're trying to watch. But, oh, and a bit of contact there from Cal. Caught the back of Maxi. But he looks to have gotten away without too much damage. But Xerxes back on the case with James. Had a bit of a loss of traction on the back there, so he's dropped back. Still in DRS window.
Through all of that, a Let Down Estate was able to get past CHM. So the Red Bull driver up to 7th. A lot of action here in the opening laps.
Cal doing a fantastic job with his battery. In fact, he could be using some because he's got 100%.
I was about to say, I don't think he's used any. But it's all about how you use it. And if he has a plan in mind, he might be able to just get all of these moves done in quick succession as the soft runners start to die off. You see Xerxes with DRS once again, the red light flashing on the back of that McLaren, as James does not have much overtake to work with. Xerxes
Cal just doesn't seem to want to get the overtake done on
Max. There he is.
Oh, okay. I'll eat my words.
Right on cue. Cal goes down the inside at turn 4 and is up into 5th. Now Xerxes really closing the gap in this middle sector. We see Xerxes continuing to close the gap each lap, but he just lacks that bit of straight line speed, I think, to get the move done and dusted. He won't go for a move here into turn 11. Just saves up that overtake.
Yeah, a few more comments on the stream. Bannister saying Appleplex, he's learnt from the best. Mikey, he ain't DNF'd yet though.
Here we go again, coming into turn 14. Xerxes, a little bit of a lockup once again, but manages a lot better this time. They'll have DRS once again as they come flying down the start-finish straight. 200 miles an hour as they come under braking into a tight turn 1. Is that Maxi coming into the pits?
That was, yes. And it's just for tyres, there's no wings being put onto that Renault. But we have Silver Slugger still chasing CHM.
And he'll want to get that move done as quickly as he can because those softs aren't going to last too much longer. So he's going to want to take advantage of the grip while he has it, so it will be dying off. Been able to close the gap on the Mercedes these last couple laps. Another little love tap from behind.
Xerxes definitely got more pace than James, but James is doing a better job in the corners at the moment. He seems to be getting the traction out, which Xerxes seems to be suffering with at the moment. But I do believe that Xerxes run less assists than most drivers. As you can see, when he's braking, he's locking up sometimes, which if you've got your ABS on, that would not happen.
Yeah, he's really struggling into this penultimate corner. Turn 14, I mean...
Every lap, isn't it?
I think he's locked up, yeah, every lap, and that's really costing him down this first DRS straight as well. He is able to close the gap, but... Oh, and he's sending it around the outside. James went defensive in that McLaren. Blocked off the inside, and James nearly took the outside, and he's right on the back of him as they come out of turn 3.
Yeah, he did really good on the traction coming through turns 2 and 3 there, and he's up on the outside coming into turn 4. Can he keep it in there? No, James is just closes the door. But nice clean racing from both drivers there.
Yep. James had the inside line and was very aggressive and thought he could get ahead by the time they got through the corner, and to be fair to him, he did.
Yeah, he had the position. He was clear of the car, so it was his track to move over.
But Xerxes in that Red Bull, staying right on the gearbox of our race leader. They come down towards turn 11. This is where dirty air can be a little bit of a hassle for the car behind. But Xerxes seems to be coping with it well, as he's been able to stay right behind the McLaren for the last several laps.
Yeah, he's quite close on this occasion. Can he manage this penultimate corner without too much locking up?
Much better from him, and a little bit of a mistake from James as he goes wide. And that might open the door, but Xerxes just not using his overtake for the time being. McLaren goes defensive once again. Red Bull late on the brakes, a little bit of a lockup. Not able to get the move done this time round either.
Maybe Xerxes was worried about the attack coming back on the second DRS.
Further back we have a letdown estate closing the gap on Callan. Although we thought those softs might be dying off pretty soon, they don't seem to be dying off just yet. Letdown estate showing great pace, and he's been quicker than Cal on those mediums these last few laps.
Yeah, we might have some broken displays, or someone needs to message Cal and tell him where the overtake button is. He's not used it.
This is not the track you want to forget about it either. Lots of straightaways. Overtake can be very useful, and Xerxes used a bit of it there to close the gap, and he nearly sent it around the outside, but he just backed out. It's a really difficult corner to overtake there. He stays right behind the McLaren.
He is
Little
right
bit of a
behind.
lockup.
Wow.
That was very close to some contact there. But here we go again, coming around the penultimate corner. Turns 14 and 15 in quick succession here. Oh, and a little bit of a spin there from Xerxes. Didn't get the power down. And now we have to think about Appleplex behind is within a second. So Appleplex will be joining this DRS
train. And a letdown estate is on the inside
of
Cal. He's clear before the braking zone.
Xerxes sent it down the inside, not sure if he missed his braking point, but it was an easy switchback for Daisy, and he retakes the lead, and as you say, a letdown estate, able to get up to 5th.
I'll have to watch it back, but I don't even think Cal used his DRS then either. Am I seeing things?
Not sure. We're right on board with Cal here as they come through the middle sector. He is right behind a letdown estate. Be looking to get that position back. DRS is open on the McLaren. They come towards turn 11. Let down Estate holding his line and staying ahead.
Got a few battles coming on now. Battle for second, Appleplex. Xerxes has really dropped off James, which has brought him under threat from Appleplex, but Prev is not far behind.
Oh, and here comes Appleplex into turn 14. He's sending it up the inside. Is he able to make it stick? Will that compromise his exit at all?
It might have been a mistake because
Xerxes is coming into the pits.
He is, but Xerxes had the DRS then because Appleplex put it in front of him just before the detection point.
And here comes Prev. He's also got DRS, and he's sending it up the inside at turn 1. They're wheel to wheel through turn 2.
Oh,
it's really difficult to go through there, and 2 doesn't go into 1. And that's Appleplex spun round. As he comes back on to see his teammate CHM and Silva Slugger go by all the way down to 7th for Appleplex, and he's won't be happy about that.
He's off completely.
Really unfortunate for the Mercedes. He done nothing wrong there. It's a really tight sequence of corners, and he came worse off. Now the softs really are getting to the point where they'll be falling off. I think we're seeing that as Cal is now all over the back of a letdown Estate, and the letdown Estate going a little bit wide there at turn 11.
Yeah, we're beginning to reach the point where people will be looking to pit on the softs, either now or in the next few laps. As Old Dads just makes it past Appleplex.
Yeah, Appleplex will be wanting to get into the pits and get off those tires. Not sure if he got any wing damage from that, but see a big lock up there from the Mercedes.
Yeah, it looks like he's got both his end plates at the moment, so we'll have to keep an
eye.
He'll
have absolutely cooked his tires, though, getting back onto the track. And Xerxes maybe looking for a little bit of a switch back there. Oh, and Appleplex tried to go into the pits, and he didn't see the Red Bull alongside him.
Oh, I was at the wrong camera angle to see that.
It's so unlucky for Appleplex, and he crawls into the pits. He was running a great race, and it's all gone wrong for him in a span of 2 laps. I don't think anything could have been done from the Red Bull driver there. He was just alongside of him, and I don't think Appleplex saw him on his inside.
I was thinking that Xerxes went up on his inside, because we kind of realised he was going to be going into the pits, but we don't know if Xerxes knew that.
Well, to be fair to him, it's not his responsibility.
Yeah, and yeah,
he was alongside him. He has a right to be there. He was going for an overtake. Just a very unfortunate incident, or twice in the span of a lap for Appleplex. We see Cal still right on the back of a letdown Estate. They come on to lap number 14.
Xerxes is hot on the tail. And he's making... Ooh, he's had a look on the inside in turn 14.
Yeah, gave it a look and then just bailed out.
But we know Xerxes has the fresher tyres, so he's got DRS to close the gap. And can he do something under the second DRS zone? Let's wait and see.
Ooh, and Old Dad's going a little bit wide, and that'll compromise his turn 2, which will compromise him all the way down this second DRS straight. And he's pushing to stay ahead of the Red Bull. The Red Bull's got DRS, but it doesn't matter. The straight line speed on that Ferrari is something to see. And Old Dad's is able to stay ahead.
Cal is up along the side of a letdown Estate. Done that move into the sharp left-hander there before the DRS.
And I think we are seeing those soft tires really die off now.
Cal's still struggling to find his overtake button. He seems to be overtaking these people and not using the full beans available to him.
Yeah, it's an extra 200 horsepower he's just not using. And our race leader in the McLaren is into the pits after 14 laps on his soft tires.
Yeah, he's gone on mediums. So he could go medium soft or he could go medium. But Xerxes having another look at old Dad's. He's more than easily got this move done with the DRS assistance.
And Maxi might be having a look as well. Old Dad's going wide again at turn 1. We'll see if Maxi can take advantage. He doesn't have much overtake to work with, and we know the straight line speed of Old Dad's is really impressive. But Maxi sends it up the inside, and he's completely bailed out. I think he knew he got that wrong.
Yeah.
And just tried to avoid a collision, and he did well. I think he realized it just a split second too late that move wasn't really there. But well done to avoid a collision.
He did well there, because I think, you know, if he was any more ambitious, it could have been dangerous for Zerk.
And I think Xerxes got a little bit of an undercut on our race leader. Because when James came into pit, he came out just in front of Xerxes as a few laps ago before either of them pit. There was a couple seconds difference.
Yeah, having a letdown estate pitting now. Where the advantage could have been. So, Cal, now our race leader, CHM 6 seconds behind. And Slugger just behind him.
Slugger is the last of our soft runners to be going from the start of the race. So he will be feeling the effects of those worn tires as you see him getting a little loose here in Sector 2, but I think he'll be thinking he's been right on the back of this Mercedes for several laps, and as a racing driver, you just want to get that overtake. You don't want to pit and then watch that car drive off into the distance. But I'm not sure if he's got the grip to be able to stay with him for too much longer.
No. But Xerxes will have the grip on them 3-lap-old soft tyres, and he's really trying to bring the fight to James again, but now there is a tyre difference, so how will that affect as he's looking around the outside here in Sector 2?
Yeah, as I said, really difficult corner to overtake there. He's just trying to put as much pressure as he can on the McLaren, force him into a mistake. But so far, James has defended well.
It's very close.
He's gonna had a look up the inside, and Prev goes past his teammate. And now here is the Red Bull of Xerxes, getting ahead of who was our race leader before the pit stops. He is ahead of James in the McLaren.
Let down a state in the background. Looks like he got an overtake on Maxi.
Oh, and let down a state going defensive, trying to force the runner the long way around. And he does defend well, but he gets a little bit deep on the exit of turn 4. But he's able to keep the position.
Few comments. Elhan, not even using ERS. Solid position for Cal. Bannister, he's sure. He's AL1 for sure. So it would be interesting to see Cal in an AL1 race, but we've got AL1 full now. Full 22 drivers on the grid. 20 drivers on the grid. Bannister talking about Mark. He's had his Weetabix today, Mark being a letdown estate. Alan thinks that Cal is not using his ERS to blend in with AL2 as Xerxes sets the fastest lap.
Xerxes showing great pace on those softs, and it'll be interesting to see how the strategy difference plays out between those top 3 or 4, I should say. You got Cal, the leader of the medium starters. It was just him and CHM, and then Xerxes and James, who were neck and neck for the first several laps, but they've gone separate ways with their strategies. We've got 3 different strategies here between Cal, Xerxes, and Daisy. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Who knows?
Yeah, because as you say, we've got Cal on the mediums. We don't know if he's going to go medium soft soft or medium medium soft. We've got Xerxes, who's gone soft soft so far, so he's got the mediums left to put on. And James has gone soft medium, so he could push them out and then do a soft stint at the end, or if he's not feeling like he's got the tyre management, he could go medium medium. But I think any one of those decisions will change the result of this race.
Yeah, and then any incident or safety car could just throw a wrench into everything. This is a tricky track where we could see some incidents, and I think maybe a little bit of a half spin there for the Haas of Silvaslugga. It's able to keep it on the track. I think there might be a little bit of wing damage there as we see an end plate missing on that right hand side. And he is coming into the pits, really unfortunate there. And 5 seconds on top of that. Meanwhile, Old Dad's setting the fastest lap on his fresh set of softs. Trying to get back into this race after that unfortunate start that he had.
So that's brought Appleplex back up 1 place.
We're seeing a period of the race where everything just sort of settles down a little bit. Everybody goes into race pace mode more than attacking or defending, and just tries to make sure they can execute their strategies the best they can.
Yeah,
we'll likely see it pick back up toward the end.
Cal out in front, so him and his fellow other medium starter, CHM, currently out the front in this race. Cal leading by nearly 15 seconds. Xerxes is chasing CHM though, so although he has pitted, he's nearly closed that gap again to CHM. So it's really showing the pace of Xerxes. James dropping back slightly from Xerxes, but he is on the medium compound, so he will have longevity with those, so that will have an effect on this race. I think everybody else has gone either soft medium or soft soft. Prev has gone soft medium, but he's now got company in the shape of a letdown estate behind him. A letdown estate a few laps ago was overtaken with Maxi. Now 3 seconds clear, so a letdown estate got some pace in Bahrain.
Yeah, a letdown estate on the podium last week, so he's had a great start to the season, and he's shown good pace so far in this one. On the attack once again.
Whoa. Flick to Xerxes with a massive lock up on his front right on that final corner. No, it wasn't a final corner. Start of sector 3, but he is challenging CHM now. CHM on 19 lap old medium tyres, so he won't have much to say in response. But Xerxes didn't get much of a good exit out of there, but in fact his teammate, Letdown Estate, has got a better chance to have a look on Prev.
He's closing the gap, but
Ally Xerxes made the move on CHM under braking, and it is clear.
Wow. I switched down to his teammate.
Yeah, so did I, and I just seen the move.
Well, that is what those fresh softs can do.
Oh, and
Silver's another yellow flag.
Silver's off again
as before. It is a really tricky corner if you catch any of that inside curb. As you said in qualifying, it's just gonna send your car into a spin.
It's a killer curb, and that's really hindered the Haas's race. But you know, 10th place does win you 11 points now at wheel to wheel. So, but he's just left the session. So his car will also now serve the 5-second penalty. But let's go to James, because James is now on the back of CHM. And that is a risky move. He is pushing the Mercedes round Sector 3. I think with that dirty air, that would be very risky of losing it on that corner, because that's a horrible corner going round it without any dirty air.
Here comes the McLaren down the inside. He looks to have the move done into turn 1. There's Daisy back up into third.
A Letdown Estate still bringing the fight to Prev. I'm beginning to think about Xerxes' strategy, because he's got 9 laps on them softs he's got on at the minute, and I think he put them on quite early. So I think Xerxes will either have to do, well, he's gone soft, so maybe his strategy is, as the predicted strategy said at the start, as a soft, medium. So he'll be looking for an extra run.
We saw a couple drivers go that route on Wednesday. Not sure how it worked out compared to the 2 stoppers. But you can see the thinking behind it, because soft tires are that much quicker than the mediums.
Prev on CHM down the inside, but we also have a Letdown Estate in the mix. So Prev got in front of CHM, and now a Letdown Estate is going to be having a look on the inside of CHM also. But the straight line speed of that Mercedes is incredible compared to the straight line speed of the Red Bull, as he backs out and doesn't bring the challenge.
Yeah, CHM was fortunate to get DRS off Prev in front after Prev got past him into turn 1. He was able to defend well against the Red Bull down into turn 4.
Yeah, this will hurt the Red Bull though, because he was chasing Prev. Now Prev's got the opportunity to get away. But now the Red Bull will have DRS, but the Mercedes won't have DRS off Prev in front. But CHM got a great exit out of that corner.
Oh, he's broke so early there.
Oh.
Nearly caused an incident there with a Letdown Estate, as he Letdown Estate just had to bail out of the corner completely in order to avoid a collision.
Yeah, the pace difference between 6-lap and 22-lap mediums is really showing there. But of course, you know, to have that kind of straight line speed, you're not going to have much downforce. If you don't have much downforce, you're going to have to brake earlier for corners.
Yeah, and he is now into the pits, CHM. On those 22, now 23 laps completed on those set of mediums, and he goes for the soft tires for a second stint.
Yeah. So that brings him out into 8th place, which will really feel quite wounding after having such a good long stint on the medium tyres. But Cal still on his stint, but for a good medium soft he's going to have to take them to about lap 27 so that he can then do 15-15 on the soft tyres, if that's the route he wanted to go. But he's doing good. He's setting his 83 thousandths off his personal best, so he is doing good pace on their medium tyres. But again, full battery. He's not using this all what's available to him, but he's coming into the pits. So maybe a lap early. But he's gone on to a soft set, and I think that will bring him out into 2nd or 3rd. His teammate looks to inherit that position from him.
The Cal come back out in 3rd, just in front of the Ferrari of Prev. And Cal opting for the soft, so he will be looking to run away from that Ferrari and Red Bull behind. Try and close the gap on his teammate.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting to see Cal on a fresh set of soft tyres with people in front of him. He hasn't had many people in front of him during this race. Although, tell a lie, he did start on the mediums, and he did start from 8th. But he's soon catching his teammate, James. And I think with the pace difference in the tyres, he's going to be going to make light work of it.
Yeah, although they are teammates, we've seen James defend. Whether last week or this week, he has been very difficult to overtake. We'll see how difficult he makes it on Cal here. Is Cal now using some of that overtake? He's got a full bank of it, sets a purple sector 3 as he crosses the line, and he is in front of his teammate as they come down towards turn 1.
Yeah, James not making it very difficult for him at all there. Stayed well to the left. But gives his teammate a friendly bit of DRS to help him get away from Prev behind.
Yeah, now I wonder what Xerxes is thinking out in front.
Oh damn, that's what he's thinking. Few more comments. Dave, how's Bloom? Never seen such a small in wheel-to-wheel on a Friday, but yes, we do have not as many people on the AL2 League at the minute, but we do have a full AL1 League, which I think now we've been encouraging the AL2 champions to be moving up and their closest rival to join them. So last 2 or 3 seasons, I think 2 drivers have gone up from AL2 each time, at least. So it's big push for the Wednesdays now, but more drivers means more splits. We did have AL3 at one point, so we had that many drivers that we could split all 3, and Xerxes is in the pits. And this will answer our question, because that is a set of soft tyres, so he is going soft mediums.
Very interesting strategy from Xerxes. And yeah, Cal really looks to have control of this race now on fresh tires. Already pulled 3 seconds to his teammate. And clear air out in front. He can just put in the lap times, use that grip that he's got, and really pull away from everyone.
I mean, that might have been a good call from Xerxes, because if he is doing the extra stop, he didn't need to push as far onto the soft tyres. And also to pit before Cal caught him and brought a challenge, and which would have only cost him time. And, you know, any battle you go into, there's a risk of damage or an off. So maybe it's a good call there from the Red Bull driver. Bannister, the God King with a streamer. The God King, I think, is referring to Xerxes.
Is that his nickname for him?
It must be now. And then we got Ailhan saying, hope the God King sticks now. It's 300 Spartans. So then Ailhan again. Softs aren't catching Cal's old now. He magically using ERS now, so there is some speculation about Cal's battery deployment at the minute. As I've lost all my timers on my screen, I don't know why they've just gone. But Cal out in front. Sure, there was a yellow flag which come from Silver's car, which I think was a bit strange.
Yep, I think he's been able to get back in and retire in the pits after he lost connection. So good on him for doing that. Although his car is pulling out again, but
yeah, but we have ghosting on now at Wheel to Wheel, so it doesn't cause as many issues as it did when we had ghosting off with a solid AI car driving around the track.
I think his car will just pull over here, keep out of everybody's way. Good to see.
Got a comment from Carl Wolf. Good race so far. I hope to be in the next one. So I'm sorry, Carl Wolf. I'm not sure if you've been inducted yet, or if you're interested to join the league, or if you're already in and you're due to start next race. But good luck to you. If you've not already signed up, then please do at Wheel to Wheel. You can find us on Facebook. We have a Discord, and we have a forum site where we run all of our admin. But yeah, nice friendly PS4 League and PS5. If you wanted to join, all our drivers get inducted so that we know that you're clean and you can handle a car around the track in traffic, just so that everybody gets a nice, clean, fair race. That's what we're about.
We've got spots for people of pretty much any pace. If you're really quick, some of our AL1 guys are aliens, as we like to say. And if you're more of a beginner, or just usually play casually, then AL2 might be the place for you. So we look forward to any new drivers that might be interested. This race has now settled down into a strategy battle more than anything. The Cal out in front extending that gap.
Yeah, so it's looking to be a strong race at the moment for the McLaren garage. Alan saying, you mean me? I think he's talking about you, talking about the aliens rather than the aliens.
He's somewhat normal. He's in between.
Yeah, he's in the process of being abducted, I think.
Yeah.
Although maybe I'll refrain from talking about what happens during abductions and keep the stream PG.
We've got Xerxes on his fresh soft tires. We saw him set the fastest lap of the race last lap. So far, He looks to be enjoying those fresh, soft tires. He'll be plugging away, trying to close the gap to his teammate as we see up in front of him. Less than a 3-second gap now. I think Xerxes has the pace certainly to be on the podium at the end of this one. If he can keep any mistakes out, then it'll just come down to strategy, which he is, I think, the lone person on this strategy. Maybe Maxi might be going for a similar one with the soft medium strategy. Still too early to say how that's going to play out.
I think I have seen it play out in a race before. I think Gogs did a soft race when I was against him, and it seemed to work well for him. But I just think if you're doing that, you need the pace, you need the outright pace to cover that extra stop that you're doing.
Yeah. And I think Xerxes definitely has potential for a podium here, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to catch those McLarens out in front with still one pit stop to go for him.
Yeah. But I've got to mention the letdown estate. Looking from lap 1 for him to be sat where he is in this Grand Prix at the moment. He's doing quite a grand job.
Yeah, the old veteran, always composed and making the most out of whatever he can, whatever the race gives him. Now we have Maxi and the Renault on his fresh soft tires, just behind the Mercedes of CHM.
Are we going to have a multi-21 situation here with the Red Bull guys?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We know from last season, Letdown Estate doesn't mind having a little scrap with his teammates. And he leaves the space on the inside for Xerxes, and they're wheel-to-wheel through turn 2. And Xerxes is able to squeeze past, and now has DRS to run away from his teammate.
Yeah, a lot of space there given with both drivers, but Maxi now on CHM. DRS down the start-finish straight has brought him right up to the back of the Mercedes as we're coming now into the second DRS straight. But the straight line speed of that Mercedes is something difficult to beat.
Oh, he's gone a little wide there, and Maxi looked like he might have had a run on him into turn 5, but just backed out. Maxi, if he is on that 3-stop strategy, he doesn't want to be getting held up by any traffic, but those extra pit stops put you at risk of getting stuck behind people that you might be quicker than otherwise. We're seeing that here. Maxi will be losing time being behind this Mercedes.
Yeah, he really needs to get close to him and use that DRS advantage, because he's going to need that to overcome that straight line speed. But he's going to have to save a little bit of overtake to use as well. Neither car's got a massive amount, but Maxi has less than CHM.
Xerxes already closing the gap to Prev. They come through turn 5, but we look now at Maxi having a look at the inside, and they're wheel-to-wheel through turn 1, and CHM's and Maxi's fighting it back, and he's on his outside as they come down towards turn 4. He is past the Mercedes, up into 6th for the Renault driver.
Yeah, I think there was quite a bit of awareness between the two drivers there. I think they seemed to know where each other was at every point, and Xerxes on the inside of Prev with DRS assistance at the end of Sector 2.
Yeah, massive gap in the tires of those two. You know, Xerxes has shown great pace, and he's also got those fresh, soft tires. Nothing really Prev could have done to avoid that one.
Yeah, Xerxes already pulled 3 seconds on his teammate, who he only overtook a couple laps ago.
Yeah, Prev will just try and sit in the DRS as long as he can here. Maybe not enough pace in his car to try and move to overtake Xerxes again, but yeah, Xerxes is already pulling over a second. He's got so much grip through 1 and 2. Prev just hanging on to that last bit of DRS before the Red Bull will pull away and try and chase down those McLarens out in front.
Yeah, I think it's all going to come down to strategies, because Xerxes is catching James now, but James has got the faster tyre to go onto, whereas Xerxes has got to go onto the slower tyre. So there's going to be a pace difference. So if Xerxes wants to try and finish in front of James, he's going to have to try and close this gap and get in front of him, and as far ahead as he can, just to kind of negate that deficit he's going to have between running the different tyre compounds. Because it is painfully obvious that second a lap difference between the softs and the mediums. But with Xerxes' strategy, hopefully he won't have as many laps to do on the mediums, so he won't be as slow as long as the rest of them.
Yeah, just 23 laps to go now. So we're going to see those strategies start coming to fruition. Cal likely going to go on to the softs, as is his teammate for their last stint. So they will be probably the two favorites to finish where they are, first and second.
Yeah.
Xerxes, though, doing everything he can to change that.
Yeah, Xerxes will be there to pick up that second place if anything were to happen, but I do think that Xerxes has got the harder job here.
Yeah.
But definitely looking to have a strong result as well as Prev and a Letdown Estate, both of them showing good pace and good consistency around this track. You know, as I say, Letdown Estate recovering from lap 1 being knocked off at the early stages and then coming back from the back. But also Appleplex, and correct me if I'm wrong, Old Dad's, he had an incident, did he?
Yes, he was the worse off of anybody, I think, after the first couple laps. But he's been able to get himself back into contention here for some good points.
Ah yes, I remember now, yes. But yeah, some good racing all the way down the field. Got some more comments. Carl Wolf, I'm Woody 420 Wolfie Bloom. Ah, yes. Woody used to race with us before. So, and he's been messaging me, so he is looking to rejoin Wheel to Wheel. So, yes, that makes sense now. Coming back into racing next week. And then we've got Lawson commenting. Haas coming back with a vengeance next week, looking to finish their first race. So I'm guessing that is Silver Slugger.
Yes.
Clearly frustrated with that one corner, which has caused him to pit too much, to the point where he left the session, which I don't think anybody can blame him after such a dreadful couple laps.
It may have been a connection, not sure. It would make sense to leave after a couple laps like that, but seen some messages from him saying it was a connection issue.
Ah, right. Cool.
It may have played a part.
We do definitely discourage people leaving the session halfway through. because we've got points all the way down the board now, so there's no reason not to finish the race.
Yeah. But now we have a battle on our hands for second place as Xerxes getting a great exit there out of turn 2. He's not using that overtake, but he's going to send it round the outside of the McLaren. Looking for a move round turn 4, but he's not able to get it done there. He'll have to sit behind James all the way through these Sector 2 S's. Now into the heavy braking at turn 8. It'll be difficult to gauge where you want to go for a move this part of the lap. If you're just sat right behind a car, you know you're quicker than. You just got to be patient through these tight corners here. And is he going to go for a move into turn 11? He's switching to the inside. Surely he's going to go for it here. And he does, and he pulls it off beautifully. Xerxes up into second.
Yep,
great move from the Red Bull driver.
There. Oh no, it is off! No, it was last week where we seen Xerxes come off in Australia, and he's just come off again. That was really unfortunate for the Red Bull driver.
And I think that move into turn 11 just compromised his line for the next couple of corners. Safety car is out as there's a lot of debris on the track from that incident. And it's so unfortunate.
That is the saving grace for Xerxes, because now he is able to correct his mistake. His teammate is in front of him now, but he's lost out the Prev and the letdown estate, but I think that given the right conditions he can make that back, but depending if Max is coming in, so Xerxes is probably going to be out before him.
And Cal, I think, was the only car that was past the pits when the safety car came out, so it'll be interesting to see if he loses out here. Though I think the safety car will be waiting for him after his pit stop, so all the other cars will have to remain under their delta, reducing their speed by at least 40%.
Yeah, I think Cal will get time to get in and do the pit.
Yeah, he's got 38 seconds between him and his teammate, so he should be fine.
I'd just like to call Bannister for the commentator curse. I was about to read out his comment, the God King on the charge. But I didn't manage to get it in. I just thought I'll wait until after this battle, and I was literally about to say it, and then Xerxes was off. But I'm so happy that Xerxes has managed to only take his wing off, keep his wheels, get into the pits, get serviced, and get back out on track.
And our race leader is into the pits, and Old Dads is now right back in the thick of it. He pitted recently. Only 6 laps done on those medium tires. And we know he's got pace, so he's right back in the thick of it. That's good to see from Old Dads.
Yes, he managed to jump Xerxes then. I did miss that.
Now I think everybody except Old Dads will be on fresh tires, but a good mix of soft and medium runners. It'll be interesting to see how those softs hold up, as they'll be pushing them right to the limit. If we go racing here, if we went racing this lap, we'd be pushing them right to the limit at the end, but I think another couple of laps under the safety car will do those soft runners some good. They'll be able to comfortably take them to the end.
Yeah. The only issue would be is tyre temps at the start. Oh, and Old Dads has pitted again.
Yeah, he's gone for fresh mediums.
He has. I think them 6-lap old mediums would have probably done fine, unless he's changed the wing, but that's dropped him now down to 8.
I would have understood more of his thought process there if he went for some soft tires.
Yeah.
But interesting to sacrifice 3 places there for a 6 laps difference in grip.
Yeah. This also does allow Appleplex to get back up, so Appleplex can redeem some points from this race also.
Yeah, Appleplex was showing great pace at the start was our race leader at one point. Hopefully he can get back into the thick of it here in the closing laps, and I think everybody will be in the mindset of this is their last stint and they've got to go for it, and track position means absolutely everything at this point.
Yeah,
so
I
everybody
think
was going for it.
Top three, the strategies have felt lucky that they're sat there on fresh softs and that they're not behind the medium runners to hold them up. But Mikey, comment, that was a belter. Lucky you still have 4 wheels. Bannister, Red Bull back on it now. Carl Wolf, is the damage regular or full? The damage is on full, and I think Xerxes is probably thinking, thank God that it's not on simulation damage like it has been back in the past. So, waiting for these cars to catch up now. CHM and Old Dads and Leasley catch up. Appleplex still got some catching to do, but I reckon the safety car is likely to be in this lap, which will mean we will have 17 laps of flat out racing, which might, as you say, that's probably a lap or two more than the guys on the soft tyres will want to do, especially having gone round the circuit a couple times.
And I think it'll make a difference. Those soft tires were used at all in qualifying, as that takes a bit of life out of them.
I think if they were used, it would show up now to say, you know, when they pulled out the garage, it would say like 3 lap old tyres.
I'm not sure about that.
It has on previous games.
Commentator. But nevertheless, everybody on similar tires in terms of laps done. Top 3 on the soft, next 3 on the medium. Should be a grandstand finish. I think we might have 1 more lap under the safety car.
I reckon Appleplex might... Ooh, I don't know. It'll be a tough one. I reckon it'll say in... Oh, it's leaving it very late if it is.
Lights are still on. Yep, 1 more lap, and then we should be good to go for the 16 laps, starting lap 42, under green flag conditions.
Yep, as Aylin says on the stream, mediums need to keep up with the softs and hope that they get a drop off on the last few laps.
Yeah.
It would be quite a hard job. But the Red Bull guys on the mediums could work to their advantage come 15, 16 laps after this safety car. And also, we've got to do the safety car restart, which hasn't always gone so smoothly. So, you know, someone could get the jump on the restart, someone could brake a bit too hard and then end up getting some wing damage. So, still plenty to play for. I'm just happy now that the likes of Old Dads and Appleplex have got a genuine fresh chance to promote their finishing position. Because I do think at the start of this race they did show some incredible pace, incredible racecraft, but it was just unfortunate that they was involved in incidents which put them into the position they was in. But now they have a chance at redemption. So let's see how they manage. But strong result for McLaren looking like. Quick rundown before the safety car restart. You get the notification there, say in this lap we've got Cal in first, James in second, Prev in third, Dan Estate in fourth, Xerxes in fifth, Maxi in sixth, CHM in seventh, Old Dads in 8th and Appleplex in 9th. And the
So
penalties are
then
just 2 3-second penalties there.
16 laps to go here. Lights are out on the safety car as it pulls into the pits. The two McLarens will get us underway as they come flying down the main street. And we are back racing once again here in Bahrain. And it's a good restart from the Ferraris. He's right on the back of James, and he's going to send it down the outside at turn 1. Putting all the pressure on the McLaren in front, but can't quite get anything done. And we see the two Red Bulls not far behind. And Maxi's actually going for a move on Xerxes into turn 4.
Old Dad's also making a move past CHM there on the medium tyres, but Maxi getting loose on the inside of Xerxes as Old Dad's is catching, and CHM pushing his way back up on the inside. Incredible stuff here. Amazing that I didn't see any carbon fibre there, but CHM was pushing up the inside there.
And CHM getting pushed right into a tricky corner at turn 10, and CHM way late on the brakes. Not sure if there was any contact there, but really awkward position for CHM to be in. And I think Old Dad's came off second best there as he drops back behind Appleplex.
Old Dad's came off worse, but I don't think that was anything to do with his doing. It was just the track position of the other cars, which, as you say, was a really awkward line as Old Dad's suffers with a penalty.
Very unlucky there as Appleplex just locked up in front of him, and he had to slam on the brakes coming around turn 13, and now he's a little bit of contact. Not the best restart from Old Dad's. He's shown great pace, but just struggled with the cars around him right from the start of this race.
Seeing Cal flash his overtake button then, whereas James has been permanently on his, just trying to keep up with Cal. Prev's dropping back, but a letdown estate is not letting Prev out of his 1 second window. Maxi.
No DRS yet after the safety car restart until the 3rd lap.
Maxi gaining a position on Xerxes, so Xerxes dropping back ever so slightly. But he's probably still gracious to have 4 wheels.
Maxi does have a penalty, which will be a good sight to see for Xerxes and CHM behind. They are penalty free at the moment.
A letdown estate needing to close that gap if he wants to try and get some DRS assistance and keep with these front 3 soft runners. But he might soon be under threat from Maxi from behind as Cal sets another fastest lap with a 1:28.9.
CHM able to stay right behind Xerxes here. Xerxes has got the pace, but CHM on the preferred tire here for this last stint, so he's sticking right behind, and he's got DRS. Has a little look at the inside as they come through turn 4, but nothing really there for the Mercedes.
Now all the action now is at the back, where these cars have been allowed to remain in this race and bring them new life, whereas the guys at the front just are running away with it.
Yeah, I think Xerxes is really struggling on those mediums, and he's might get overtaken here as CHM is pushing it up the inside as they come towards turn 11, and CHM is through up into 6th.
That might be one of the biggest flaws of the soft medium strategy. Probably felt he's had pace all race, but then now he's on this mandatory compound. He's just not got the pace that he's used to having all race. Either that or that smash really giving him a big shock, and he's probably lost the confidence on his traction.
Yeah, I think definitely mentally being on the soft tires all race, being on the quicker tire and the cars around you, and then having to go to the slower tire and not having that same level of grip does definitely have an effect on a driver. I think we're seeing that here. Xerxes falls back to 7th now. He was 5th at the restart just a couple laps ago.
Potentially running in a podium position, but it could have been worse if he DNF'd, but he's having dropped now to 7th place from a potential podium would hurt anybody. But CHM still on the march, because now he's got Maxi in his sights.
Yeah, Maxi also on the medium tire, as was Xerxes when he fell victim to CHM. CHM really taking advantage of this safety car, working his way through the field.
Yeah, so is this just going to sieve through so that we've got all the soft runners at the top and the medium runners at the bottom? CHM with a great exit.
Yeah, CHM with a great run. And he's going to fly past the Renault of Maxi as they come down towards turn 1. CHM is comfortably ahead, but he still goes a bit deep. Don't think that'll cost him too much. He's got the grip to be able to cope with it, but Maxi will get DRS down this second straight. He hasn't got a lot of overtake to work with, though. And CHM is able to keep 5th.
That straight line speed of that Mercedes is just unbeatable.
CHM will be loving the race stewards for bringing out that safety car, because it has given him the opportunity to make up a few positions, and he has taken that opportunity brilliantly. He is still on the charge. He'll be looking to close the gap to a letdown Estate in front, who is also on the medium tire.
Yeah, the chase really is on, but we might be entering the territory where the mediums may have more grip than the softs soon. And with about 12 laps left, 11 laps left of the race now, a lot can change, because these soft runners at the front, okay, a couple laps was under the safety car, but they're going to have 18 lap old softs come the end of this race. 18, 19 lap old softs, yeah. And it's not what you're going to be able to bring much of a fight with.
Maxi doing well to stick with CHM over the course of that lap. And, ooh, could be a crucial mistake as James up in second gets a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate at this stage of the race to be picking up your first penalty. But Maxi could really benefit from this now if he could just cling onto the back of CHM. And, as you say, just keep in that DRS range as long as he saves some overtake. When these tyres begin to switch over to be more grip on the mediums, he's going to be there ready to jump on CHM.
Yeah, he's doing really well to stay with the Mercedes, and while the Mercedes is closing the gap on the Red Bull as well, so Maxi is using that DRS to his advantage here and closing the gap on a letdown Estate, while also keeping himself in a great position to have a move on CHM here in a few laps time.
Maxi is using everything he can to push, because he's got virtually no overtake. His fuel light is just beginning to come on, so he's at his max for everything to just stay with CHM.
Giving it all the juice, but it might be worth it just to stay within DRS range, because it is so powerful around this track.
Yeah, he's got DRS at the minute, but he's just dropped out. But CHM, as you're about to say, I bet, has got DRS on a letdown Estate.
Yep, and I think that's why we see the gap between CHM and Maxi close a little bit, or open up, but now it's closing once again through the middle sector. CHM dealing with some dirty air through those S's. Now then, a 3-car battle for 4th place. CHM will be wanting to get the move done as soon as possible, take advantage of those soft tires while they've got the grip. And he's right behind the Red Bull as they come around the final corner.
Yeah, this is not the safety car restart Red Bull we're looking for.
Let down a state, you can see that red light flashing on the back of that Red Bull. He's not got much overtake to work with. CHM has got plenty. And he's on it now. Not a great exit out of turn 2. But he still might have enough. No, he doesn't. Can't close the gap into turn 4.
We can already see the graining come in on the front left of that Mercedes. So these soft tyres are not going to be much good for much longer, as he loses a little bit of traction on the back end there. And we've got Appleplex has retired.
He's in the wall in sector 2. And could that bring out maybe another safety car?
That is what I was just thinking, but now that there's no cars on track there, I think sometimes the fact that everybody's past it sort of allows the safety car not to come out.
Yeah, it's still green flags everywhere except where the incident took place. I think by this time we would have seen the stewards put out a VSC or a safety car, as we see the car cleared from the track and green flags all around.
Old Dad seems to be suffering, is 10 seconds behind Xerxes. But flick back up to CHM, who's still on the battle for 4th with the letdown estate.
A little bit of a better exit this time from CHM. He's on the overtake early. The letdown estate doesn't have much to defend with. And CHM's going to send it up the inside, and a nearly bit of contact there. But a letdown estate is able to keep 4th.
Yeah, some close battle in between these two, but both very experienced drivers here at Wheel to Wheel.
And now not only Maxi right behind them, but Xerxes is joining the party as well. Maybe he's getting into a groove with those mediums. CHM bang on the overtake as soon as he gets on the power. Not able to have a move there though.
Oh no, and Xerxes is around again, same place. Wing damage for Xerxes, is going to have to come in and repair that, unfortunately. And he likely won't have a set of softs to put on either, so that is going to be painful for the Red Bull garage. And even more pain as his teammate
is under attack. CHM going down the inside. Can he make it stick? He's got more grip than the Red Bull just to get back on the racing line and pull away as they come down towards turn 4. CHM up into 4th.
Yeah, Red Bull really suffered from this safety car restart now. Xerxes back out on a fresh set of mediums, which will probably be the fastest compound he's got available to him. But still, about 6.5 laps left of this Grand Prix. and a letdown estate will have the fresher tyres soon.
Also, another interesting situation, we have Prev staying within that 3-second window to James in second. So as of right now, Prev would be inheriting second place, which would be a great result for him. Oh, and Xerxes really struggling now. He gets a penalty to add on to the struggles of the last few laps.
So that looked like that was the start of Sector 3 where he was. So he's probably really worried about that corner now. So a few comments. Mikey, to be fair, only 3 seconds is a massive improvement for James, so well done there. Last week James did get enough penalties that he ended up being demoted places come the final standings. Gogs saying X marks the spot.
That's funny.
The God King hitting the same spot each time, and thankfully the gods are on his side because he managed to keep all 4 wheels. And then Mikey, can CHM's tyres hold out? He's done well there in the overtake.
Yeah, CHM definitely the biggest beneficiary of that safety car. He's up into 4th. But a letdown estate within half a second on the mediums, which, as you say, could turn into the ideal tire here these last few laps.
Yeah, and a letdown estate needs to keep the pressure on because he's got Maxi behind him, albeit Maxi has a penalty, so he's not too much of a threat, but any little mistake from a letdown estate, then Maxi is going to be looking to take advantage. So yeah, as we were saying before, it's literally just sieved its way through. So the soft runners are at the front and the medium runners are at the back. So that's the difference in the tyres here in Bahrain.
Yep.
Which is really unfortunate for Xerxes' strategy, although he's now come off a couple times. So that's had more of an effect on his race, but this less.
I think it might have started though mentally, just not being able to be on the right tire might have had an effect on him, and then just all downhill from there. But that was what sort of started it. After that safety car restart, he just didn't look the same as he did for the first 3/4 of this race. Maxi fallen back from a letdown estate here in the last lap or so, but letdown estate's still putting the pressure on CHM.
Yeah. Prev now within the 2-second window of James. Cal, he's been using his overtake and he's now 8 seconds out in front of James. But to be on the soft tyres at this point of the race compared to everybody else, you're going to have a pace advantage already. But now we've got 3.5 laps left of this race. But these soft tyres are going to be reaching their peak as CHM is going to be finding out with a letdown estate on the attack behind him on the medium compound.
Just 3 laps to go now for CHM to hold on to that 4th position. Letdown Estate doesn't have a whole lot of overtake to work with, and he's using all he's got down the main straight here. Try and close this gap. The straight line speed of the Mercedes, as we've seen all night long, been really impressive. So it'll be difficult to actually get this move done, even if a Letdown Estate might have a bit more grip.
Yeah, without much overtake, it's making the job more difficult.
Yeah. I think you might do well with just banking it for these next couple laps. Do a bit of Mikey style banking on the overtake. And then just deploy it all on the last lap. Just as long as he can stay within DRS. A little loose there coming out of turn 10, that won't help him.
That's cost him a little bit of time, but DRS will hopefully bring him back within that 1 second gap.
Oh, he's sitting right there between 9/10 and a second. Although he does look to be having more grip though, as he's able to get a couple of tenths out of CHM through turns 12 and 13. And a much better exit from a Letdown Estate than that of CHM. Letdown Estate using all his juice once again down this start-finish straight. Closes the gap, but can't do much more.
Good traction coming out of there. But that straight line speed of the Mercedes is just almost unbeatable.
Yeah, it'll take probably a mistake coming out of one of these corners from CHM for a Letdown Estate to actually have an opportunity to get alongside him.
Well, he's only got one more go down that start-finish straight. So we'll have to see how we can get on. Last few comments before we're coming on to the final lap. Ailhan says, might need to put some drivers into AL2 soon, make this championship interesting. Mikey, Cal might DNF yet if he falls asleep at the wheel. Obviously being out in front all by himself, it's sometimes the hazard. Their pace is so close to each other. Apart from Cal, that's what makes it good. Whereas in AL1 there's no close battles like this. Talking about me, like Mikey says. We have battles, Mikey.
We have plenty of battles now. They're just in groups. Now then, on the final lap of the race, the Letdown Estate giving it the beans down the main street. His fuel lights on, his overtake is all but empty. He still can't make the move. He's definitely got more grip than CHM at this point, but he just can't get the straight line speed to get alongside of that Mercedes. Ooh, and a little loose there through the S's. He's Letdown Estate. Might not have another opportunity here. He's teetering right on the brink of DRS range. CHM, little lockup into turn 10. But nothing major, and CHM's able to pull away down towards turn 11, and it looks like CHM is going to be able to keep 4th place.
Yeah,
as we now
even with the graining on his tyres, he seems to have managed quite well.
As our race leader is coming around the final corner, Cal started on the mediums. His strategy worked beautifully, and he wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. And his teammate James in the other McLaren comes across the line second, but with the penalty situation, Prev will jump him, and Prev finishes second. CHM, just by the skin of his teeth, is able to finish 4th and keep a Letdown Estate behind. Maxi crosses the line 6th, and we have Old Dad's coming around the final corner. Not been his best race today, but well done to him. for grinding it out, getting the points on the board. 7th place for Old Dad's Rule. And now we see Xerxes, the God King, as the fans call him. He showed great pace early on, looked to be in the running to win this race at one point. Definitely looked on pace for a podium. Had his struggles, but finishes 8th. Well done to Xerxes, his first finish in Wheel2Wheel Racing. We look forward to many more from him. Cal, driver of the day, don't think there's any doubt about that. Working his way through the field, got the strategy bang on. Great performance from Cal.
Yeah, some good battles through the field there from all of our drivers. Really unfortunate incidents for a few as well. It really changed the result of this race. There were some points where we were sure of the podium finishes, and then it just came and changed. But 2 McLarens up on the podium, which is going to do wonders for the combined constructors. We'll see if we can get any of these in for a post-race podium interview. But just as Matt did there, going through the race results, Cal finishing first and taking the fastest lap, but he didn't quite clinch pole for this Grand Prix because he started 8th on the mediums. Then we have in 2nd place Prev for Ferrari. Done an outstanding job there, and he just clinched to the back of James enough that he demoted James into 3rd place after his penalties. CHM in 4th, then we have Let Down Estate in 5th, Maxi in 6th, Old Dad Rules in 7th, Xerxes in 8th, and then unfortunately we had the DNF of Appleplex and Silver Slugger. And we had some great racing there, few incidents, few things that might be going to the stewards to be reviewed later, but ultimately some good action.
Yeah, and if either of the two with me in the party, if you guys could add Cal and Prev, I don't think I have them on my friends list, but we were joined. Your thoughts just kind of going through the race of seemed like it could have gone anywhere, and then the safety car sort of came at a good time for you, I think.
Yeah, well, the safety car definitely helped me because I was in the perfect spot as well, just to be able to pit for those soft. But I went for a different strategy to everyone, but a few, Callum as well, and it was quite fun.
Yeah, we saw some good battling early on, and then on that last stint, it definitely looked like the softs were the right tire to be on. We thought maybe they might die out the last few laps, but it seemed like all the soft runners there at the end were having a big advantage. Do you feel that way?
The softs, yeah, with that safety car, it allowed us all to just save those softs to be able to make that stint even longer and push ourselves more, which really helped.
Yeah.
Did you know you were going to be looking at a soft, medium, soft strategy for this race? And before coming in, did you see yourself on the podium come the final lap?
Well, the strategy, yeah. We had worked out the strategy for both of us, and we knew which tyres were going to be the best to choose. We thought we could get a podium, but I didn't think I would get a podium with the pace I had. But I was very lucky.
Yeah,
and then
go on, sorry.
Go ahead.
Seen a few incidents from a couple of the other drivers which I think did sort of change the result. We've seen Appleplex and Old Dads, they was putting on a strong race, and Xerxes, but incidents impacted all of them, which may, as you say, have affected the finishing result.
Yeah, and then what about your teammate there? You seem to have the pace over everyone behind you on that last stint, but then it seemed like there was no catching your teammate there, was there?
Yeah, Callum is quick driver around Bahrain. I just didn't have the right pace around here. It's not one of those tracks I'm good at.
Certainly understandable, and still on the podium, third place finish, a double podium for McLaren. A great result for you, James. Thanks for joining us.
Well done, James.
Thank you.
And now our race winner, Cal. Well, we saw you a bit further down the grid than I think we were expecting. Were you is that where you expected to be on the medium tire after qualifying?
I don't think we can hear you on the stream, Cal. I can hear you in the party, but I can't hear you on the stream.
Yeah.
Party screen, and then
Party
just your
settings.
settings.
Yeah. Allow your voice to be shared.
So are we all good now? Can hear on the stream?
Yeah, it should do if you change that. So just talk to us about qualifying then, going for the mediums.
Yeah, so I sort of let everyone do their first laps, sort of gave me an idea of where I'd fit in. I knew I only had one set of mediums to do qualifying on. So, yeah, after everyone set their laps, I kind of knew where I was going to be. I knew that the closer I could be to Xerxes' time in terms of about a second, obviously he was on the softs, I was on the mediums, and I got within that second. So I knew I was about on the pace anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, I thought I'd qualify a bit further down, but I didn't worry too much.
Yeah, it was a really good first stint. You stayed out of trouble. There was a lot of incidents in those opening laps, and then after that first pit stop from you came out, I think, further ahead than I was expecting. So after that first pit stop, were you thinking that it might be your win for the taking after that first stint?
Yeah, so after the first stint, I was a bit surprised as well where I ended up coming out. I thought people would sort of be ahead and I'd have to play catch up a bit like I did in Australia. But yeah, I was a bit surprised. I came out in front, and I'd also managed to save a lot of fuel. I think you saw probably towards the start of the race I was quite happy to stay behind people, just getting DRS and saving the ERS really, making sure I was in lean, just basically using them to help me fuel save. So as soon as I came out for that second stint and I was already up there, I was a bit surprised, and then it was just a case of building a bit of a gap, making it comfortable. But then the safety car obviously came out, which changed it all quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you did pole and the race win last week. This week you've done the race win and the fastest lap. Do you think China is a place where we might see you do the Grand Slam of get the pole, fastest lap and the win?
I think it depends. It depends which way I go, because if I go onto the mediums to start again, then maybe I'd qualify a bit further down. If I go softs early on, then maybe I won't be so quick at the end. So it depends, sort of a balancing act between the two. Just depends which way I go. I mean, I could obviously go soft, medium, softs again to go get the fast lap, but in all honesty, like, qualifying's a small part of the race, a very small part. Fastest lap again, if it's there to get, it's there to get. But the main thing is just bringing them points in.
Yeah, you did well today. Strategy seemed to work out great, and that's 2 wins out of 2 here at Wheel2Wheel in AL2. So I know there have been talks amongst the fans watching on the stream. How do you think your pace would be compared to some of those midfield guys in AL1? Would you be looking forward to that challenge maybe one day?
Yeah, definitely. I think, obviously, when I signed up, I hadn't been in the league for many years. I hadn't done any racing. I hadn't done any sort of time trials or anything. No setup, so it was quite all a bit new. So I just thought, right, I'll take this season in AL2, sort of build up, get my confidence. And then, yeah, definitely, AL1's definitely something I want to go to eventually. And as for pace, I think until you get there, you don't know. But I mean, I've raced a couple of them, or a few of them, prior to the season starting, particularly. And some of them I was there or thereabouts. So yeah, I don't think I'd be too far up, but I'm definitely there or thereabouts to have a few good races in the midfield, I reckon. So
Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
we look forward to that when the day comes. Bloom,
definitely.
you got anything you want to add?
No, it's just looking good for McLaren for the constructors. If my maths is serving me right, I think that puts McLaren pretty near the top of the joint constructors, and you're already at the top of the AL2 constructors table. Is it something that you are aiming for this year to clinch the constructors with James?
First and foremost, we just want to make sure that before the race we said let's go get P1, P2, whichever way it comes around, and then obviously the safety car it was like, well, let's race it, but obviously let's also be sensible because we don't want to throw away points. So I was more than happy if James was quicker. If he would go into the lead, then so be it. But if I was quicker and could build the gap, make it comfortable again, and obviously limit the chance of us collide, and no one wants to see teammates collide, or maybe the ones behind. But yeah, I think in general, it's more about making sure that the team gets some constructor points, and then if at the end of the season we're there to battle it out, we're there to battle it out. What will be.
So you wouldn't hesitate to pull some team orders to make sure the fastest one of you are at the front?
Yeah, well, so at the end, James obviously picked up the penalty, so I was sort of debating whether I'd drop back a little bit, help him with the DRS, maybe try and get him to pull him along a little bit towards the last couple of laps, but then it was a little bit risky as well. We could end up slowing each other down, and then, so yeah, if team orders were necessary, but also happy to race. Like if he'd have gone past me after the safety car, fair play. If he was quicker, then we're there to race as well. So just be sensible about it.
Yeah, well, you guys did really well. Unfortunate for James to have that penalty, but P1, P3, good day at the office for McLaren. So thank you both for joining us.
Was a little bit gutting right at the end to see that penalty come up, because obviously the P1, P2 would have been nice, but there's still time. We'll get there.
Still a good result.
It was an unlucky penalty, though.
China's the one, I reckon.
Yeah.
We look forward to that next week. That'll be all from us from Bahrain. It was an exciting race. Saw Cal get his second win out of 2. And we look forward to seeing everybody in Southeast Asia next week.
Yeah, well done everyone, and stay safe.
Yeah.